So hopefully everybody is joining the Bhagavad Gita class regularly, and the children are learning the basic principles of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, so last time, how many of you remember what were we discussing last time? Remember which particular verse we tried to recite and discuss based on that? So mainly we were talking about Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 text 14, right? We discussed on that. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada agma paino nityastam titikshasva bharata. That one should try to tolerate the dualities. What kind of dualities? Sometimes there is happiness, sometimes there is sadness. So one should try to tolerate. And we discussed few examples based on the scenarios which happen with children. And then we discussed about the basic characteristics of the soul. Okay, we discussed few of the characteristics of soul. So we are going to continue discussing the characteristics of the soul as Krishna is describing it to Arjuna. So Krishna described what are the qualities of the soul. Krishna said the soul which pervades the entire body, you should know it is indestructible, avinashi. So the characteristic of the soul is avinashi. Okay, so can you remember that word? Avinashi. Avinashi means indestructible, which cannot be destroyed. And no one is able to destroy that imperishable soul, avyaya. So Krishna uses two words here, avinashi and avyaya. And both meanings seem to be very similar. Avinashi means indestructible. Avyaya means imperishable. So what is the difference in these two words? Why Krishna uses this twice? So the difference, avinashi. Avinashi means which is not destructible by any external efforts, which nobody can destroy by any means. Okay, so that is avinashi. And then avyaya means it is imperishable by itself, that the soul never dies. Okay, so that means avyaya, imperishable. So what is the difference? One is it cannot be destroyed by any external efforts. We cannot kill the soul. And avyaya means it will not die by itself also. Imperishable. So for example, this body can be destroyed by external efforts, right? Somebody can destroy this body. This body can be put to fire. Somebody can harm the body by cutting it with the knife or some sharp object, by the bomb blast or something. So this body can be destroyed by external means, but the soul cannot be destroyed by any external means. So it's called avinashi, indestructible. And same with this body, even if somebody doesn't destroy this body, but with time, as the time passes, this body will be dying by itself. It will start to decay itself. So in the previous verses, what did Krishna say? Komaram yovanam jara tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatrana muhyati. That as this body changes from boyhood to youth to old age, right? We know this body doesn't stay the same always. Has anybody seen the body staying the same? Right now, you all are little children, maybe 6 year to 10, 12 years of age. But then this body grows up, it becomes like an adult person, and then it continues to further grow up, and we become like old people. And then the old people also, their body continue to grow older and older, and one day they die, right? So even if the body is not destroyed by any external means, but the body decays by itself, and it will dwindle one day, it will die one day. But for the soul does not die by itself also, imperishable, avyaya. So remember the difference in these two words. Indestructible and imperishable, avinashi and avyaya. So generally we know something destroys another by pervading into this. And Krishna is saying this soul pervades into the body. And because of the presence of the soul, we have consciousness, right? We can feel something, and that sense of feeling comes because of the consciousness. And consciousness comes because of the presence of soul. So because soul is presence in the body, because of the presence of soul, there is consciousness which is spread all across the body, from your head to toe. If you pull your hair, you will have some feeling, some sensation because of the consciousness. Even if you bite at the bottom of your foot, you will have some sensation, some feeling because of consciousness. So consciousness is there in the body from your head to toe. Consciousness is spread all over the body. But who is the root cause of the consciousness? That is the soul. Because of the presence of soul, consciousness is spread throughout the body. Now, maybe you are too young, you have never seen a dead body. But in case you have heard of or seen a dead body, what is the difference in somebody living and somebody dead? Somebody living means they can feel, right? They can sense. But somebody, when they die, then they don't have any feeling, any sensation. So if somebody is pinching on a dead body, the dead body doesn't feel anything. So because the consciousness is not there in dead body anymore. And why consciousness is not there? Because the absence of soul. The soul has already left. And because of the absence of soul, the person is declared dead. Otherwise, what is the difference in a living body and a dead body? A living person and a dead person? Because that head is still there, right? Inside the head, that brain is still there. The eyes are still there in the dead body also. The mouth is also there. The nose is also there. The ears are also there. So everything is there in the dead body also. So why the dead body does not feel anything? Why the dead body doesn't see, eat, hear, smell? Why the dead body doesn't do anything? Because the consciousness is not there. Because the soul has left that body. So the presence of soul makes the difference. In the living body, soul is present. In the dead body, there is no soul. The soul has already left. So generally we say, so soul is pervading the whole body through the consciousness, because of which the body feels. Now it is said that soul, where does the soul reside in the body? Anybody knows? Where does the soul reside in the body? Has anybody heard about that? Raise your hands. Okay. Adhishri?
Prabhuji, I think in the middle of the body.
In the middle of the body? So what is the region of the middle of the body? Is that the stomach?
No.
Then?
The heart.
Is the heart in the middle?
Yes.
Okay, so in the middle you are saying vertically, uh, not really through the height, right? You don't mean along the height in the middle.
Yes.
Okay, so in the middle, in the heart. Okay, so soul resides in the heart. Okay, anybody else? Om?
Yeah, so I was saying that it resides in the soul, like the soul resides in the heart, but the heart is not exactly in the middle of the body. It's kind of like near your chest, kind of.
Okay, so but we are talking about where does soul reside. Okay, so you are saying soul reside in the heart.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? Om?
Yeah, I agree with whoever said that in the Bhagavad Gita. I'm pretty sure it says the soul resides in the heart of the body.
Okay, soul resides in the heart. Okay.
Heart of the body. Yeah. I don't know if that means like heart area or middle of the area, or I don't know.
Okay, let's not worry about that. So everybody agrees that whatever you have heard, everybody has heard that the soul resides in the heart, right? Actually, in Bhagavad Gita, later on, Krishna says, Hrideshaya Arjuna Tishtati, I am residing in the heart. Okay? Sarvasya Chaham Hridesha Niveshtoho, I am seated in everybody's heart. So that is Krishna is saying, that Krishna resides in the heart. But Krishna resides next to the soul. So the soul is also residing in the heart. So now we come to a very important discussion for children. So if the soul is residing in the heart, because of the soul, we understand that consciousness is spread all over the body. Now, we know this concept that sometime when people's heart stop working or the heart is weak, sometimes people go for heart surgery, right? They go for heart surgery or a heart transplant. Then they can take out the heart of one person and put in somebody else's heart in that person's body. So if soul is residing in the heart, and when heart is taken out and changed with another heart, what happens to the soul? So now if somebody else's heart is taken out and put in somebody else's body, does it mean that person's soul also comes into this person's body now along with the heart? So what happens to the soul? Has anybody thought about that? So how we understand that? So along with the heart, does the soul also change? Let's see if anybody has any comments on this one. Okay, I see a few hands raised.
So will stay with the body. And
Okay, can you speak out a little closer to the mic? Speak a little louder.
the soul, it will change because it could move to the another body. That's why the
So you
soul stayed in.
okay? So you are saying the soul will stay in the body even though the heart is changed, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else? Akshara.
So I was saying that the soul moves to a different body.
So you are saying when the heart is changed, the soul also changes.
Yeah, but it just it does it yeah it just switches like the soul that the body was from, it just goes to a different body.
So it goes to a different body. But last time we discussed soul cannot be moved. Soul cannot be changed its position by any external efforts. It's not that we can take the soul from one body and put it into another body,
Okay.
right? We cannot move the soul by any external efforts. As it's not, it doesn't mean that we can take your soul and put in somebody else's body and take somebody else's soul and put it in your body.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the answer actually is See, even though we say soul resides in the heart, it's not that exactly in the heart. It says in the core of the heart. It's at the bottom of the heart. So when somebody's body is taken apart or ripped apart, doctors open up the body in the theater room, in the operation theater. So the soul, when they take the heart out, it doesn't mean that the soul also goes with the heart. Soul is there and soul changes its seat. Heart is just like a seat. Just think it that way. Heart is just the seat for the soul, either inside the heart or closer to the heart in the body. So when the seat is changed, it doesn't mean that the soul also has to change. For example, if you are driving a car, okay, so your car seat, the car seat has a problem, and you go to a mechanic and they change the car seat, right? They take the car seat from your car, put it out, and they take another seat and put it into your car. So now does it mean that they will take you also along with the car seat and put somewhere else? And when they put the new car seat in your car, they will put some other driver also in that car, in your car. It doesn't happen that way, right? So you move to a different seat and the mechanic will take out the car seat and put a new car seat. And then you can come back on that new car seat and drive that car. So same way, when the heart is taken out, that is like the seat of the soul in the heart, in the body. So when the heart is replaced, the soul moves and then it again takes its seat. So the soul is the important point for everybody to understand. Mainly the bottom line is, because of the presence of soul in the body, the person has consciousness. And when the person loses consciousness, or basically when the person dies, it means the soul has left, because of which the person is no more a living person. It's a dead body. All right. So now moving on to the next one. So we learned two important words in this verse, or in this particular context. One is avinashi, another one is avyaya. Avinashi means it's indestructible, and avyaya means it's imperishable. It cannot be destroyed by any external efforts, and it will not die by itself also. The next qualification or the next characteristics of the soul, which Krishna is telling, that even though the body is temporary, it will come to an end, but the soul is eternal. Okay, there is no end for the soul. So the next word to describe the soul is nitya. Nitya means eternal. So the body is temporary. Body has death, but the soul does not have death. It's nitya, it's eternal. And again, Krishna uses another word to describe indestructible. Now Krishna says anashino. Earlier Krishna used the word avinashi as indestructible. Another word for indestructible Krishna is using now, anashino. So Krishna is again and again stressing on this point, that the soul cannot be destroyed. Anashino. And another important characteristic of the soul is the soul is immeasurable. Apremyasya. So now why Krishna is describing this? We discussed a little bit last time also. Because Arjuna is resisting to fight, right? He doesn't want to do his duty of a kshatriya to fight in the war. So Krishna is telling him, do not worry. The body is temporary. The soul is eternal, nitya. It will not be destroyed by your weapons. You are thinking, I will shoot arrows on my opponent warriors, Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya. So along with their body, what if my weapons destroy their soul also? Right? The arrow will pierce through their body. And what if the arrow goes inside the body, closer to the heart, and it pierces through the soul also? So that's why Krishna is telling again and again, do not worry, the soul cannot be destroyed. It's anashino. And then the size of the soul is too small. Nothing can touch the soul. Apremesya. And we discussed what is the size of the soul. It is 1/10,000 times the tip of the hair. If somebody takes a hair, pluck out the hair, and that little dot of the hair, right? The diameter of the hair. If you take that little dot and then cut it into 100 pieces, then take one piece and again cut it into another 100 pieces, that is like the soul, size of the soul. Now, is that a literal size of the soul? No, it's a metaphorical dimension. Okay? It's just an example to tell that the soul is too small. It's kind of immeasurable. We cannot measure the size of the soul. So even Arjuna, if you shoot thousands of arrows, it will not destroy the soul. It will not cut into the soul. So the main thing is Krishna is telling Arjuna, get up and fight. Do not worry about all these things. Get up and fight. So he's instructing Arjuna that get up and fight. Because Krishna's main purpose is of giving all this information is to bring Arjuna to that understanding that I need to do my duty. For example, a doctor, right? If you go to a doctor for your physical examination, the doctor can tell you a lot about your body, that what is happening in your body, how the lungs are doing, how the heart is doing, all these things. And doctor may tell you you have this particular infection or something. So that is all information for you. What does it really matter to you? What you are supposed to do, right? You at the end, you need to know what I'm supposed to do. If I need to take any medication or I need to fix something in my diet, I need to stop eating something or I need to start eating something as a healthy meal. So that's all what matters to you. So same way, Krishna is telling Arjuna about all this information about the soul. But then he is again and again in between telling Arjuna, Uttishta, Uttishta, get up and fight. So that is his main focus. He is telling the instruction, get up and fight. So let's see if somebody has any questions so far before we move on to the next verse. I want to discuss the next verse, which is very important. We want to work on memorizing that verse, trying to remember that verse. Okay, so before that, if anybody has any question.
I have a question.
Okay.
So, my question is that what is a demigod?
So the demigod means the Devi Devatas, right? We use the word Devi Devata, or English, Prabhupada use the word demigod. So demigod means the people who are kind of in charge within this material world to run the affairs of this material world. So like in a country, to run the country, there is one president or prime minister, but then the prime minister has many different people who are the leaders of different departments, right? The prime minister does not do everything by himself.
I have a question. Is Shiva a demigod or a god?
So Shiva's position is very special. He is not the completely equal to the Supreme Lord also, and he is not a demigod also. Okay, Shiva's position is very special. He is not a jiva, he is not a devata, and he is close to the Supreme Lord, but he is not the Supreme Lord. And that is a very big topic actually. We'll discuss maybe that topic in detail some other time. But for your question, brief answer is Shiva is exactly not a demigod, and he is not exactly as a Supreme Lord also. He is
So is Indra a demigod?
what?
Is it Indra a demigod then?
Yes, Indra is a demigod. He is a devata.
Okay, thank you.
The Devi Devatas, understand one more principle. The Devi Devatas are somebody who are a position, and somebody can become a Devi Devata. Somebody can acquire that position. Okay, so they are also jivas, living entities, who can take on that special position. But nobody can become Shiva or nobody can become Krishna. They cannot take up that position. So Shiva is not a jiva. It's not a living entity. Okay, any other questions? See, Arjun.
Arjun, you can unmute yourself. Okay.
Where does the soul go after you die?
When the person dies, when the body dies, the soul leaves that body and the soul is sent to that next body. It's a next destination. So it moves on to another destination. It could be any life form. It could be again a human, or it could be a bird or a beast or a tree in a different planet also. But if the person has become liberated, if the soul has become qualified to go back to the spiritual world, then it can go back to the spiritual world also. And in spiritual world also, there are many different destinations. There are Vaikuntha Loka, there is Ayodhya, there is Goloka Dham, and based on what is the soul's destination, based on his attraction to any particular form of the Lord, it can go to that place in the spiritual world. Okay, so the soul goes to its next destination, either within this material world, or if it has become liberated, it goes to the spiritual world.
Okay.
Okay, other questions?
I was asking like the other person was. So like is Brahma a demigod? Because like he's part of the three worlds, like Shiva and Vishnu.
Yes, so we say Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, but in that sense, in Brahma is a living entity, but
Okay.
Shiva and Vishnu are not the living entity. They are not Jiva. They are special Tattva. So Shiva is Shiva Tattva and Lord Vishnu is Vishnu Tattva. But Brahma is a Jiva Tattva.
Okay.
Okay, so Brahma is a living
But
entity.
like, how do you tell the difference between a Jeev and not one, and the one that's not? Like, how do you tell the difference?
We cannot tell the difference. It's based on the Shastra, scripture. Scripture tell what is the position of all these different Devi Devatas. So out of them, Brahma is also a living entity because it's a position. So Brahma also has its life duration. And when Brahma's life duration is finished, somebody else can also become Brahma.
Oh, okay.
So somebody is, based on their qualification, they can become Brahma. Shiva's position is a special position, and Lord Vishnu, he is the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu.
Okay.
So kids are asking very high philosophical questions.
Yes.
Anybody else has a question? So when we are asking this sort of question, it means we have already learned many different things and you have come to this level. You are already wonderful Vaishnava kids who have taken birth in this special situation, special families, to continue your journey towards Krishna. Okay, I see Dugu has a question. Dugu is raising hand.
Does this soul have any color?
The soul has any color?
Yeah.
So you know what? In spiritual world, the soul also has a form. Okay? So the soul...
Is the soul color go do something like that?
So we don't want to imagine anything. Okay, we don't have to imagine anything that soul's color is yellow, gold, blue, whatever it is. And in spiritual world also there is variety. Okay, there are many different varieties, many different color, and each soul has its own form and shape. So in spiritual world, the soul itself has a form. It's a spiritual form, not the material form. In this material world, we have this form, right? This body. And everybody has a different color. Somebody is brown, somebody is black, somebody is whitish. But in spiritual world also, the soul itself has its form, which is spiritual body. And it could have a different color also. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, let's discuss the next verse. So the next verse is very important. Chapter 2, text 20. So everybody, I hope, have a copy of Bhagavad Gita. I want you all to read in Bhagavad Gita this particular verse. Try to memorize this verse and read the detail of this verse. We are going to recite it now. So let me share my screen so you can see the verse. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 20. न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्य शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. If anybody will like to recite, you can unmute yourself one at a time, and let's try to recite this verse few times so you get a hold of this one, how to recite this verse.
Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo nitya sahasvato yam purano na hanyate hanyame ne shivare.
Sharire. Okay, good. Okay, let me recite one more time, then the next person can recite. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah ajo nitya shashvato yam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Okay, next person. Please recite.
Can I recite it, Prabhuji?
Sure, go ahead, one at a time.
Okay. Na jayat mriyat va kadachin nayam bhutava bhavita vana bhuya ajo nitya sasvato yam parano na hanyat hanyaman sarir.
Sharire. Okay. Yes. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin. So there is no birth, no death for the soul.
Can you hear me?
Can I do it?
Yes, yes. Let me just tell the meaning of this one time, and then we'll ask few other kids to recite the verse. So na jayate mriyate va kadachin. For the soul, there is no birth and there is no death for the soul. Nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyaha. So it does not have come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. As a need, it's not that the soul was existing at some point of time and then it will come to an end at some point of time. Ajo nitya shashvato yam purano. Ajo, it's unborn. Yeah, it's eternal. Shashvato, ever existing. Purano, it's the oldest. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. When the body is killed, the soul is not killed at that time. When the body dies, the soul does not die. Okay, Who want to
Can
recite
I
it?
say? Can I say? Can I say?
Yes,
Can I say?
one at a time. One at a time.
Say, Prabhuji? She can always say it. Can I say it, Prabhuji?
Okay, right now I'm looking at my screen. I'm not looking at who is saying. So just recite one at a time.
न जयते
जयते मृत्यव कदम नयम भूत भविता वन भूयः अजो नित्य सस्वतो यम
Shashvato.
न हन्यते हन्यमी सस्रिरे.
Can I say?
Okay, go ahead.
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिन् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यशाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे.
Okay, very good.
Prabhuji, can I say it now?
Okay, go ahead.
न जयते म्रियते वा कदाचिन्नयं भुवता भवितवा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतः शाश्वतायं पुराणो न हन्यता हन्यमने शरीरा. Thank you.
Okay,
Hare Krishna.
good. Hare
Can I
Krishna.
say it?
Okay, go ahead.
Na jate niyote vakridachi nayan buddhava bhavidanam bhuya aja notai shay
Ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano.
shashtu purana na hastana
Na hanyate hanyamane sharire.
na hanayate shari.
Okay, good. So keep practicing. Okay, keep practicing later on also for reciting this verse, to memorize this verse. Okay, so let's discuss this little bit. So what are the other qualities Krishna is telling here for this verse, in this verse? So Krishna is describing further few more characteristics of the soul. Ajo nitya shashvato purano. Ajo means unborn, right? So this body takes birth, but the soul is unborn. It's not that the soul has taken birth at some point of time, or the soul, more souls keep taking birth at some point of time. The soul is eternal. So ajo nitya. That's why Krishna says the next word immediately, nitya. Don't consider that the soul has taken birth or the soul will take birth at some point of time. It's eternal. It has ever existed. Ajo nitya shashvato. So shashvato. Shashvato means, what is the meaning of shashvato? It's permanent. So it is unborn and it is permanent. It doesn't die also. Purano. It's the oldest. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. When the body is killed, the soul is never killed. So soul does not take birth at any time. The soul does not die at any time. When the body dies, the soul does not die. It just transfers to a next body. So ajo means the soul does not come into existence at a particular time. Soul is beyond the dimension of time. And whatever are the characteristics of the body, right? Whatever is the nature of the body, it does not apply to the soul. So body takes birth, soul does not take birth. Body dies, soul does not die. The body is not permanent, but the soul is permanent. The body, sometimes it's new, sometimes it's old. but the soul is ever old. Purano. It's always the oldest. So whatever are the characteristics of the body, they does not apply to the soul. Now, many different religions have the concept of soul, but all their concept are little hazy. Some people have a different concept of soul. Some other religion has another different concept of soul. Some believe there is soul, but there is no rebirth. There is no reincarnation. Some believe there is reincarnation, but there is no soul. And some think we don't have any previous birth, but we will have next birth. So this is our first birth. There was no precondition, pre-existence, but there is next life also. But somebody does not believe in neither the previous life nor the next life, that this life is the only life. So all different religion has different conception. Okay, and we will discuss next time what are these different conception and how to understand it correctly. What is the right concept? All right. So that is all for today. If anybody has any questions, so let's take few questions next 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was saying that like in the beginning of the class, you said that the soul can't move with any material, like it can't move, but if you just said that it could actually go to the spiritual world, but
Yes.
didn't it?
So
But didn't it have to move though?
right, what I said is the soul cannot be moved forcibly by external methods,
Oh, okay.
but the soul
So
goes.
it can move on it. So it can move on its will.
Yes, soul moves on its will or under the will of Krishna actually. So
Okay.
soul can move by the arrangement of this material nature, but we cannot force the soul to move by our endeavors. We cannot tell my soul, now I don't like this body, right? This body is getting old, so I want to move into the body of swastika. Okay, so we cannot do that. We cannot move the soul by our endeavor from one body into another body by external methods. But yes, soul does move. It moves from one place to another place, from one body to another body, from one world to another world. Okay, any other question? Varun.
Okay, Varun.
I accidentally raised my hand.
Okay. Khushi,
Yes.
you have a question?
No. I just raised my hand to say the shloka.
Kiona,
What does like something like D dot something
what is that?
they gods something it was meaning, right? In the first
Demigod, you mean demigod?
demigod. What does that mean?
Demigod means the Devi Devatas who run this universal affair.
Okay.
Indra, Chandra, Varun, Surya,
Okay.
all they are called Devi Devatas
Okay.
who provide the various
Those
processes of life.
they are demigods.
Right. The word for Devi Devatas, another word is demigods.
Okay.
So they have some special powers, but they are not like the Supreme Lord.
Okay.
So in Hinduism, right, that is a very common misunderstanding that everybody is equal, everybody is same.
Yes.
So that is a misconception, misunderstanding, which Krishna clears up that understanding in many places in Bhagavad Gita. If we keep reading that, so chapter 7, chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explained many things. What is the difference between Devi Devatas and the difference between Bhagavan? So one word is Devi Devata, another word is Bhagavan. Okay.
I know what Bhagwan means.
Bhagavan. Bhagavan is the Supreme Lord. And Devi
Yes.
Devatas are who are the representative of the Supreme Lord to make the necessary arrangements within this material world. So somebody is in charge of water, somebody is in charge of light, somebody is in charge of rain, like that. Okay, any other question?
I have a question.
Okay.
So if Vishnu's son is Shiva, then Shiva's son is Brahma, then what are Brahma's sons?
It's not that Vishnu's son is Shiva, Shiva's son is Brahma. It's not like that. Everybody is Vishnu's son in one sense. Okay. So Shiva is also actually expansion of Vishnu. So that is Shiva Tattva. And Brahma is the firstborn from Vishnu, from the navel of Vishnu. So if you're familiar with that story, right, from the navel of Lord Vishnu, one lotus flower sprouted, lotus grew. And on that lotus, the first living entity, first Jiva was born, that is Brahma. And Brahma's son, from Brahma, many other living entities came to expand this material world. So Brahma's sons are the 4 Kumaras also. Brahma's son is Narada also. Brahma's son is the Manu also, Savambhu Manu. So they all came through Brahma to expand the living entities within this material world.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so any other question? I see one more hand raised. Ovi.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. My question is Brahman, Shiva demigods or Bhagwan?
So I already answered that. Brahma is a Jiva. Okay, Brahma is a living entity. He is taking the role of Brahma, which is a very special role, but he is not equal to Bhagavan. And Shiva is also a very special position. He is expansion of Sankarshan in one sense, but there is some difference. He comes as a devotee.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Swastika.
Like isn't it
Like what?
it's like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like he's an expansion of Krishna, but he comes as a devotee.
Yes, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also came as a devotee. So Lord Shiva's position is also very special. I don't want to start a 2-hour lecture on Shiva Tattva right now.
Okay.
Okay. So we can discuss more in detail. So for now, for you as a children, just understand Shiva is not a Jiva and he is not exactly equal to Krishna also. And Brahma is a Jiva. He has a life duration. He is also a very special position, but not.
Yeah, but
equal
even
to
though
Bhagavan.
I've heard that Brahma has a life duration, but it's longer than a normal human being's life.
Oh
duration.
yeah, much longer than a human being.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, I will give you one analogy. Like a mosquito in front of a human, mosquito's life in front of a human is very tiny, right? Mosquito may take birth at the evening and by morning it dies based on the human calculation.
Yeah.
So same way is the position of human being in front of Brahma. Yes, Brahma's life duration is much longer. It's like trillions of years compared to the life duration of human being.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for giving such a wonderful class about the presence of soul with so many examples and made us easy to understand for all of us. So let's thank Prabhuji for loudly saying Hari Bol. Please unmute yourself.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.